Hello Internet and welcome to episode 2 of Macrohard. This is a show where the Microsoft AHGL team gets together and practices, and we broadcast it for your benefit and ours. Maybe not ours, but we're doing it anyway. And just to note, this is not affiliated in any official capacity with Microsoft. It just happens to be some guys that work there and like to play StarCraft. So, without further ado, I am kingNothing, I am the host, and with us today we have Cardz. Say
hey
hello.
guys.
And Cardz is our bad player. I was the bad player last time. He is the bad player this time, but we're going to get better.
Yes.
And teaching him, we have wraithlol.
Hey everyone, I'm wraithlol. I played a ton of StarCraft and I don't have a very high APM, but I do have a lot of basics on good mechanics and timing attacks and counters and everything, so I should be able to help someone that also doesn't have a high APM.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of APM, but a lot of heart. And then, our practice partner, we have Bay off racing.
Yo.
So he's back again, this time not coaching, and hopefully getting crushed by our Protoss hero.
It's a very good chance of that.
Yeah, so let's get this lobby going. Why don't you start the replay Cardz? And I'm going to switch this over.
So yeah, this was a game I played against a friend of mine, and he was off racing a Zerg, and I told him that I struggle against mutas in the mid game, and so that's what he did, and this is how it turned out.
Gotcha. Okay, so you were like, hey, this is the thing I have trouble with. Please smash my face in with said thing. And he was happy to oblige.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's speed this up a little bit through the opening. Get to the meat of it.
Ooh, lag. Yeah, so I went with a gateway expand. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what I did.
Basically, Gateway Expand allows you to be more aggressive in the early game, so the Zerg doesn't get 3 bases before you get your second fully saturated.
Which is a bad thing.
Yeah, that would be a bad thing.
Right.
But if you go Gateway Expand and don't put any pressure on the enemy, then you fall behind anyway, because he can still get his 3 bases and you don't have you invested more in getting units instead of getting economy.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Okay, so you have 2 gateways here.
Yeah.
And what's your typical thinking? Do you try to be aggressive in the early game with those gateways?
This game was actually a little weird because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I kind of decided at this point that I wanted to go blink stalkers. So you see this probe right here by my pylons is about to build a Twilight Council. So I figured that blink stalkers would be a good counter to mutas, and even though I haven't seen him go mutas yet.
You asked him to do it, so you're gonna blind counter what you asked him to do. I like it.
Right.
Did you manage to do any scouting?
So that's what I was doing. No, I don't think I did.
So you should send us a probe, because first of all you would like to know if there's a 6 pull incoming or not, and secondly you get to see that timing on speedling research. And actually right now we're on 7 minutes in the game and you can see that the guy didn't even start speedlings. So if you just sent like 3 stalkers in before those spine scrollers were up, you could have done a ton of damage, probably kill a queen or some drones.
Yeah. So I figured right now was a good time to expand.
Well, it's already a bit late. Because basically you now have 6 gateways. Wow. You can only afford 4 gateways off 1 base. So
This is
the
an
extra
excess of gates.
will never be able to be used basically if you're using them all the time. So
Yeah.
the only way you can ever use 6 gateways off 1 base is like if you forgot to warp in anything for 2 minutes and you just wake up with 2,000 resources or something.
Okay, so we're sitting here at about 50 supply. Zerg is taking that 3rd base. He's got a bunch of lings, snapping up some stalkers in the middle, and the Spire just finished. So what does Cardz need to be looking for in this scenario where, this is about when that transition to muta happens, and I don't see like an observer or anything.
Yeah, well, he has 4 sentries, so he could use the Phoenix to use that for scouting, and he would
there you go.
know if there's gonna be mutas or something else incoming, like tier 3 or a third on the Zerg space.
Okay, yeah, free hallucinate. That's a good idea. The Phoenix. It's a cheap way to get a lot of info.
Also, he's like on 11 workers on his main base and 13 on his natural. So he's not saturated on both of them and not harvesting gas yet.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So a little bit on the mechanics there, just macro harder.
Yeah. I tend to be very scared against Zerg with expanding because I'm used to dying to wing all-ins.
Yeah, then try getting Forge first instead of Gateway first.
Yeah.
If you're defensive.
Okay.
Basically, once you get 1 cannon, you're safe against all links, and if the Zerg is going for roaches, you can get 2 more cannons, but only after you're sure that roaches are coming in.
Oh no, those lings.
Now you
force fields.
use the Guardian Shield because it takes 2 out of each attack from the mutas, and it really does a lot on the splash damage from them.
Right. It totally knocks out the glaives. Okay. So
You
we
would
gotta
have
remember to use that
probably won
Guardian
that
Shield.
with like 3 sentries instead of losing all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really bad at Guardian Shield.
Well, we've got clear things to work on though, and that's good. If it's not obvious what's wrong, it's harder to learn. So.
Yeah. I also feel that the Forge fast expand is kind of difficult for me because it's so different from all of my other builds, where I'd build 13 gate with pretty much in Protoss and in Terran. So I often, by the time I realize I need to get my pylon down the ramp, it's already too late.
Huh.
And it's just something I need to work on because I don't know.
Stalkers.
Basically, for a while, Forge Fast Expand was the only build you could do against Zerg, so anyone that started at the beginning of StarCraft 2 was just forced to do that every game, or you would be so far behind you would not be able to come back in the game.
Yeah.
Gateway pressure didn't work against Zerg?
No.
Nope. I mean, if we're talking about in Gold and Platinum, there's things you can get away with that are not quite exactly what you're used to in the metagame there, wraithlol, but yes. Essentially, all high-level games were played with the Forge Fast Expand.
Yeah. And some brave people did go gate first, but you basically gamble because you're hoping to do a lot of damage, and if the Zerg just manages to defend that and you lose your precious units like the sentries you used in your push, then it's over basically, and you can't come back from that.
Yeah. And in this game, it looks like we're sitting at like 26 workers to 51 and 2 base to 3 base. Zerg has a pretty good lead and is building more and more mutas here. So I think we've got the idea. We can go ahead and get in our practice game. And
Sure.
Colts, you're still here, paying attention?
Oh, I'm here.
All right, great. So Bay is ready to do something similar to this to 2 cards. So we'll get that lobby going. And what are you thinking, wraithlol? What are the points that we really need to watch for here? So we talked about the opening for sure.
Yeah. His wall at his natural wasn't complete, so a lot of links kept coming in all the time.
Yeah.
So he should wall up better. He has to focus more on his macro and not get oversaturated with gates. And also he had a forge, but I don't think he upgraded just one attack upgrade in 15 minutes. So he can also do much better with the upgrades.
Yes, upgrades are definitely important, and it's easy to forget those when you're going with that gate first and forget the forge for a while or something like that.
Your stream's offline, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't mentioning it because I was going to upload this VOD later. But now that those beans are spilled.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I got more than one text message about it, so. Cool. I don't know why This is only the second time I've used OBS, so it is set up, and it is supposed to be broadcasting to my channel, but it's not, so...
Whatever.
Oh.
I'm ready to go.
Don't know what to say. Yep. Let's, can we... Are these spectators necessary? Extra?
Do you want me to remove them?
I think that would be better, yeah.
Alright.
Alright, Bay, we're probably going to kick you from the call now
I understand.
so that you can properly play your game.
Yes.
I know that we're just going to distract you, and we don't want that to happen.
I
so-
need 100% of my concentration as
Right.
Zerg.
Okay, we will talk to you later.
Alright. Good luck.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Alright, so now we are alone, except that the spectators keep coming back.
Do you want to just start with them?
I would prefer they weren't there, so we didn't have the extra chatter. This is...
Okay.
Okay, go.
Sweet.
Did you decide, do you still want to go Gateway first or Forge expand?
What do you think I should do?
So I would say you should get used to doing the Forge expand. Especially since you said you're not used to it, maybe with the coaching I can tell you when you should think about making the pylon, when you should think of putting down the Forge.
Right, and one of his big problems is he always doesn't feel safe. So you can tell him exactly how to do it and be relatively safe. So maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah. So what I usually do is just build probes until I'm like 8 or 9.
Mhm.
And depending on the distance I look at where the pylon should be, I send a probe before I actually have the money for that pylon.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So right now you can send the probe basically to your natural, and by the time it's there, you're gonna have 100 minerals. Place
Yeah,
it
sick
somewhere
timing.
in the center, slightly up. There, yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
that's pretty good. Because then the forge will be ahead,
Alright.
but the pylon will be protected once you finish up your wall.
Yeah,
And
so you
with
want
this
it
probe-
just behind that forge, like nestled, right? So that the forge is out front and touching that edge of the ice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I sometimes also place it a bit more behind in case I'm expecting some roach aggression. Then the pylon is more protected.
Okay.
So the roaches only get to the cannons which are in front of the pylon, but don't take off the energy that easily.
Right.
So right now you just scouted and you saw there's no 6 pull, and there's no pull actually at all, so you know you're safe.
So
you can
put a forge?
You put a forge, but then you'll delay the cannon and put the nexus.
Okay.
Do you do that even though he hasn't expanded yet and you went pool first?
Well, he hasn't scouted the pool yet. 'Cause-
I did scout the pool.
Yeah.
Well, he just dropped it. Now you should scout for the expand then. And depending on if that expand is building or not. And since he didn't place it yet, you can try to block him. So run around, maybe place a pylon, cancel it.
Ooh.
Too late.
That's okay. That actually takes a lot of effort that could be spent on making sure
Okay,
that the
now
probes are...
send your probe if you can back in the main of the Zerg and try to see if he's building either Zerglings or drones. And he's blocking your nexus, so just drop that cannon.
Yeah, get the cannon.
Because you're gonna get delayed a lot by that single probe. Drone. Your drone is dying. Try to micro it.
Alright.
And once you get that drone out of the way, just put the nexus as soon as possible.
Nice.
Great. Okay.
Should I use the
so-
additional pylon at the... Oh, there it goes.
Depending on what you're going for, you can either use the pylon at your natural, or if you're expecting something like you're gonna go Stargate that you want to hide later on, you could potentially build it in your base. Or if you didn't have any probes down there and you were supply blocked like you just were, you could have just placed the pylon very near your nexus, so you
So
don't lose
gateway?
mining time.
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
And then another pylon.
Yeah. You're already way ahead on minerals. Try to use your chrono boost on your nexus and build an extractor for starting up that gas production.
You're chronoing a nexus that doesn't have any workers building.
Got it. The half counts, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, your probe got in again, so you got another scout.
That's positive.
So, what did your probe see right now? You basically saw that there was a second geyser that didn't have an extractor on it yet. That the hatchery wasn't morphing into a lair yet. So you probably know that he has one gas, because Zergs at the 6 minute have at least one gas. But he's not morphing into a lair. So that just means that he's going for speedlings.
Okay, so Cardz has almost 800 minerals. What's the plan here?
Well, he doesn't have a cybernetics core, with which he just made a full wall of, apparently. And now just build probes from both nexuses and chrono boost both of them.
And are we
And
getting
since you
gateways or
have
air,
so
or what's
much-
the deal?
Yeah, get gateways since you have so many minerals and not that much gas. So like put down 3 or 4 more gateways.
Okay.
And the Twilight Council for that blink. And build some more extractors. Like at your natural you have free gas. Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about upgrades before. Is it time to get some of those, or are we not going to have enough ground forces that it matters?
Well, it's actually time maybe for him to get a sentry, because he has basically absolutely no defense, and if 3 roaches come in right now, his warp is super behind. He has only 1 cannon, so he would need something to buy him time.
Yeah.
But with the next 100 gas, you should get ground upgrades.
Should I get a mothership core or?
Yeah, but first get the upgrade and then cancel them. Yeah. And also try to chrono boost the cybernetics core and forge, since you still have enough chrono. Yeah.
Right, am I getting any upgrades from the Twilight?
You should get blink, but once you can afford it, so just make a round of stalkers, and after that start your blink. So first you should be sure that you're safe. I could just see those links poking up at your ramp, and that 1 cannon isn't gonna defend you yet. Like it's not enough.
Yeah. It's pretty thin defense right there.
Yeah.
We're lucky that Bay has been passive so far. Okay. So what's next?
Okay, now you should build your blink upgrade because you can afford it. And your warp research is done, so morph all your gates into warp gates. And remember to use your warp gates, you just press W so you don't have to hotkey them into a special key.
Yeah.
How about this geyser at the bottom in the main?
Yeah, apparently you built the simulator on it, but you didn't put the probes yet. And gas is the most important resource for a probe. Add 2 more gates because you're floating a lot of minerals again. And start warping in those stalkers.
So am I going mostly stalkers or?
Yeah, just go fully stalkers. And maybe 2 sentries to help you with the guardian shield.
Is he gonna have to warp in the sentries outside of the base? Because I think we're still totally walled off here. Or does one of those gateways die?
I can just kill off this
I would
pylon.
kill a gateway.
Or a gateway.
Yeah, or the
Oh
pylon.
yeah, that weak pylon on the
From
inside there. That'd be fine.
But warp the sentries as soon as possible so you get as much energy on them. And there's some links in front of your base, try to engage them so you get some free kills.
Now, does he want to blink aggressively as soon as that's done, or not give it away?
Actually, right now he has a ton of stalkers and they've been scouted by those links, so the enemy's probably expecting blink. So
I would agree with
just
that.
blink aggressively.
Yeah.
So
more
put
upgrades.
3 more pylons because you're supply blocked and you have a ton of gateways. And start moving on the map aggressively and take a probe with you to make a proxy pylon. And build your mothership core. You actually would have needed that mothership core right now, so in case your stalkers got surrounded, you could recall home.
Yeah.
Build a pylon where your probe is right now, and then
units.
another pylon.
Good lord, units.
Yes. Warp in all your stalkers, and add another upgrade for ground attack.
Okay.
Now merge your army and take your mothership with it. And with the next warp of stalkers, you should attack.
Okay.
And remember to start Guardian Shield as soon as the engagement starts. Oh boy. At this point, you
So we're pretty out of position here.
don't go with the mothership in first. And
Okay.
move your probes from your base all to the natural.
That is a
Okay, and
lot.
now you should be able to blink.
Oh,
on the
Blink,
top.
get it! Oh!
Blink,
Oh! Oh, you just barely missed. Oh,
Somehow one of my sentries got in my stalker army.
oh no.
Okay, go back to be aggressive because the Zerg is assuming you're defending right now.
But definitely get your gas.
Yeah, get your gas and add like 4 cannons on your natural, all behind the mineral line. Okay, and now just attack. You should have way more than the Zerg can handle, because actually mutalisks are very expensive and they're only good in high numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the mutas go in now, is it just a base trade? Just go for it?
Well, sort of. He has the cannons that should protect his natural for a bit of time.
Okay.
And then he has the mothership recall. So
Yeah.
once he deals enough damage, he can recall and save whatever is left of his natural.
Okay.
But it looks like the Zerg actually disappeared, so he's probably trying to defend,
Uh-huh.
which works very well to our advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, now move to his natural,
Oh, get it!
Blink.
Get it! Get it! Get it! Blink on him! Blink on him!
Blink.
Go!
and use Guardian Shield.
Definitely.
Go back.
Okay.
Retreat.
Can you
Can't
force field the
engage
links?
that many links. Okay, use the mass recall.
Nice.
Good job. And continue building up your macro. You lost a lot of economy there.
Yeah. So Zerg still has better upgrades, FYI. That forge is a little bit idle.
Yeah, and you can afford to build something else. Like, get your 3rd attack upgrade. Blink again on those mutas. And warp in more stalkers.
Nice. That wasn't all bad.
Okay, now wait until the mothership core has about 95 energy and then try to push out again. You're gonna be able to recall in case he comes back in.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably building his 3rd again, which you just killed, so you're gonna manage to deny that probably. If you get lucky. If you get intercepted on the way there, just recall back home.
Alright.
So is there any point in this build where there's a robo involved to get observers?
He can only get the robo once he's stable, basically, and right now he's just struggling with the mutalisk. If he can't afford to defend against mutas, there's no point in trying to counter broodlords or whatever may come in.
Sure.
But once
Blink back! Blink back!
yeah,
Oh god!
the other
Oh.
back.
That didn't work.
By back I meant inside your base.
Okay,
Alright.
pretty much lost.
That's okay though. Even though this went poorly in the end, I think we could see this point where at the beginning the build wasn't very smooth, like still working out when do I add gates, how do I macro while in this sort of situation. So that looks like something that's going to get better with time, and you weren't really in all that bad of a spot at the beginning. if you had, say, sunk those extra 1,000 minerals right away.
Yeah. The other thing that the Forge Fast Expand does is, like, because I'm not used to it, like, it totally messes up my macro.
Yes, exactly. And I can see that, and I've been there where it's like, hey, I want to try out this mech build, but, oh, what do I do with these minerals?
Yeah. I was basically waiting to see what I should put down, and because I was waiting for it, it just built up minerals. So now,
Sure.
Now that I know, like, kind of what I should be going for, because I thought we were going for Stargate, so that's what I was waiting for.
I see. Okay, well, let's do it again.
I basically left it up to you if you wanted Stargate or Gateways. I just saw that in the replay we watched you preferred Blink Stalkers, so I wanted to
I went Blink
your
Stalkers
build.
because I'm not actually comfortable going Stargate. So I think it would be cool to be able to go Stargate.
Would you like to try to go Stargate in the next game then? The thing is that you have to micro your Phoenixes very carefully against Mutalisks.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Because with about 5 Phoenixes you can kill a flock of 20 Mutalisks if they never get touched. But if you miss micro for like 1 split second, they all instantly die, and then it all goes downhill because you lost their superiority.
Yeah.
So for less APM intensive, it's better to... So at what point should I, like, switch over to an anti-muta build? Like, because I don't want to just assume that they're going mutas, right?
No, you don't have to assume they're going mutas, but if you see a heavy Ling army that doesn't get any roaches by like the minute 6 or 7, you can just basically assume that it's a muta build.
Okay.
Because there's only those 2 options. It's either a heavy roach build or a heavy muta build.
That's a good
But
point.
basically roaches means that there's going to be other transitions to potentially infestors or broodlords later in the game, and corruptors to counter your colossi or any air you could have. But the other standard is Ling Muta, which you just saw with some Banelings.
Okay. Let's try doing the Stargate. I want to see how that feels.
Okay, let's do it.
So you want to go Forge Fast Expand again, because with Stargate you actually don't have that many gateway units. So you can't really put pressure on ground, but you can put a lot of pressure by air.
Okay, so what's the overview of the build that we're going to be doing here? Is it the go and you get the gateway to help block off the wall, and then Zealot to finish the wall, and then Cybercore into like all of the gases, right? And then Stargate, and after let's say, what is it? Like the 4 Phoenix harass?
4 Phoenix.
4 Phoenix and then a Void Ray after?
Yeah, or if he scouts and sees that the Zerg is actually behind, he can go 1 Void Ray and 3 Phoenix. And he can start picking off queens with those Phoenix and Void Ray and do a lot of damage.
And then will you advise a second Stargate at a certain point, or do we go Robo after that?
Actually that depends.
So if they respawn Hydra...
Style of the player. If they respawn Hydra, you can basically still go 2 Stargates and get carriers.
Okay.
Carriers actually beat Hydras, but you have to be again very, very careful with the placement of them, and you have to hide them until you have about 4 carriers. If they just show up one by one, the enemy's gonna figure out, and he's gonna put a lot of early pressure when you don't have that critical mass.
You kind of have to keep him in his base and get up to 6 or 7 carriers and then surprise him in the map.
Yeah, or at about 4 I found out that you can actually survive if you have some cannons and a mothership core. When that generic army of roaches and hydras attack, you're actually gonna be in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
You're just gonna lose probably some buildings, but your carriers are behind your cannons, so there's no way you can actually do any serious damage.
Okay.
But the other ways, you actually switch from air to a gateway robo army.
Oh, get it. Block it. Block it. Yeah.
And put down a pylon at his natural. Okay, now we run him. And once that pylon is at like 99%, you can cancel it.
Alright.
Because he's already forced to run away, so...
Yeah.
You could probably actually... Well, no, that drone's going back. Okay.
You can cancel it now. Cancel. Okay.
And he did put down the third, so he's I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that, but
Yeah, you should.
just FYI, the timing of, well, I mean, he saw that drone run away, and he could assume that he was building a hatch down at the south, but
Yeah.
just FYI, that works. He does get there and build it before your pylon finishes, so.
Okay, now focus on your macro life. Constantly building up probes and don't get supply blocked, which is just about to happen. And once that pylon builds, start using your chrono on your nexus. This was basically a failed chrono because your supply blocked and chrono boosting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did the gas come into play? Should he be getting those right now?
No, I actually get gas a bit later because otherwise you're gonna be on so few probes that you're not gonna be able to sustain your build.
I see.
But as soon as the cybernetic score is starting to build, you should put it down to get geysers at the same time.
So we did a pylon block. How important is scouting the natural and third right now to know that there are hatcheries?
Well, he actually did see the probe going down.
Yep. So
So
he
he
can
knows-
assume the south base.
He can assume that there's one base, and he actually also saw that there were two probes.
Yep.
So one that came back and actually got scouted by the pylon before it was cancelled.
But typically the two probes are just to prevent the block, right?
Yeah, but if one of them splits and one of them actually comes back at a later time instead of just going right back to the main, you can assume that that one also came back to build another base.
Okay. Oh no!
You basically have a huge hole right now in your wall, so
Yeah, it's
should
pretty
add
big.
maybe a gateway or something. Okay. You should saturate your gases because you build them but you're not mining yet.
Alright, and we're at 600 minerals again.
This is interesting. Drop another cannon at your natural because it basically doesn't reach everything where you place it right now. It's okay, that's just 4 links and you have a zealot.
Build that cannon.
Yeah, your cannon got cancelled.
Alright.
And
Should I
your
place my other
supply
two?
box again. Yeah, you can
Gases.
place them. And now build a target because you have exactly 150 gas. And you can start building warp gates.
Warp gates? Oh.
Yeah, warp gate research.
Oh, I thought I got that. Oops.
Okay, so our macros getting better now. Down near 50 minerals.
Add that pylon back at your base.
And we probably want a sentry as soon as possible, right?
Yeah. Well, right now it's minute 7:40, so with 2 photon cannons, he's actually pretty safe because he would have a void ray by the time another push would come in.
Okay.
But he would need to close his wall, so that's a huge problem right now because if a stream of 20 links came in, this would just be GG.
Yeah, that would look pretty ugly, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Put a
we have
wall
a
in with the
probe.
pylon?
yeah. You walled yourself out, but that's fine. You can try to hide the proxy pylon somewhere since you're outside of your base anyway. And now start building air units and put down another Stargate.
I like how they use different pylons.
Yes. They have their own.
Yeah, personal pylons. Eject, Bay! Inject! There we go.
Should I transfer workers? Yeah. Probably.
Well, yeah, I usually transfer about 6 of them as soon as the Nexus is being built actually.
Ooh, they're nice
And
and even
after
now.
that I build workers from both of them at the same time because I have both Nexuses on the same control.
Alright, warp gate is done.
Yeah, so warp in your gates.
So how do Protoss air upgrades work in this scenario?
Basically, if he commits to just going there, which he just did since he has 2 Stargates, air upgrades for damage are more important because Phoenixes actually have only 5 damage and 10 versus light, so
Yeah.
it actually gives them 20% extra damage versus non-light units.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
Okay, so you could queue up 2 more phoenixes after those 2 finish,
Yeah.
and
yes.
just push with these 4.
And so we have 1,000 minerals. So is it time to expand and take a third?
It's actually not, because he cannot defend it.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
he has to put a lot of pressure and continue building up units.
So like 3 more gates probably.
Yeah, he can go for 3 more gates. What I actually would have done, which is my personal build and I wouldn't actually recommend it, is I do so much damage with my air units that I buy myself enough time to basically put down
Uh-oh, watch that front. Nice force field.
a natural that's being backed up by a lot of cannons.
Uh-huh.
You're floating a lot of minerals with this build, but it's very important to keep building air units. So you should build 2 more void rays.
Okay.
And actually what happened right now was awesome, because you killed a lot of zerglings without losing anything.
Yep.
So right now actually it's time to put down your 3rd. So break your pylon at your wall and take all your gateway units with you and build a 3rd somewhere.
Okay.
Once a pylon builds at your 3rd, put 3 or 4 cannons down as soon as possible, because you're still not on a lot of gateway units, so you need some defense against ground.
Yeah. So we're supply locked and floating a lot of money.
Yeah, well, he has to build a Nexus anyway, and oh, some
Oh,
mutants
the mothership
attack.
core! No!
Take your
No!
Phoenix and A-click on the mutas, but try to get used to staying out of their range.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Now try to do some more damage with the phoenixes. Basically, if you know that the enemy is doing mutas, phoenixes are great to pick off mutas once they're in small numbers.
Okay.
And
You
your
need some
3rd
vision,
got
buddy. You need some vision.
built. Your 3rd got built, and you don't have any cannons there yet.
Okay.
And
A thing's about to happen.
yeah,
This is a fun build.
they're actually still pretty fine. But move the probes in your
Oh
main.
god.
Move
Oh
your probes.
god.
Move your probes. Okay, now you're pretty far behind. Anyway, start.
I don't want to
mining
say
the chemical
boned,
probes you have.
but you might be. That was
Yeah,
pretty successful.
The links just kept streaming in.
Yeah. I feel like there was like a little bit of a reaction time issue, maybe.
Yeah, both the reaction time for the mutas that were in the natural and the phoenixes could have picked them up much sooner. And at the natural, where you should have had some cannons down as soon as the pylon got built, but you actually forgot about building any cannons at all and just made gateways.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then your units at your natural could have been force fielded way better.
Let's keep talking about it, but GG and start the next one. So some of those minerals could have been cannons, right? At the
Yeah.
natural, and part of that is because when you go Stargate, your defense is relatively thin, since you have that big investment in air, right? And when you leave your base and go all the way across the map, none of that army worth can be used to defend your base. So moving out and building cannons seems like a pretty good idea.
And
Yeah.
also, you basically never have enough ground units to make sure that you can survive a mass ling attack.
Right.
So you need
right.
to have cannons in strategic positions to actually help you survive that long enough.
Exactly.
If you just have void rays and phoenixes and some links come in your base, you can't kill them fast enough. They can actually snipe your main before you can do any damage to the links attacking you.
Agreed. So we want to try to get those void rays out maybe a little bit quicker this time. Make sure the phoenixes are active and then cannons when we move out.
And the Stargates actually need to be building 100% of the time.
Right.
So you can let them down on any downtime. What you can actually do is you put them on control 2 or control 3 and check every 10 to 20 seconds just to see if they're actually building something or not.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, keep building and have a rally on one of your air units.
Okay. And what ground army should I be building? Mostly zealots?
Well, if you're going for a hard air build, basically you have to take control of the air first, and then you put down like 6 gateways and then build whatever ground army you can and transition into a robotics bay. Or if you're going for a pure air build, like what you just did, basically that means that you have to use almost all your resources into cannons and the stargates.
Okay.
Once you have too much money to just sustain those 2 stargates, you can build a 3rd stargate and 2 cybernetics cores for double upgrades, for example. Or you can decide to switch the tech into a robotics build and gateways. So that means you have to have about 6 gateways and start building colossi out of your robotics bay.
Okay.
And you can build a mixture of Zealot Stalkers and colossi, basically, because you're not going to be able to afford Stalkers, which is actually the thing you want from your Stargates gateways, because you invest a lot of your gas in Stargates as well. So you will build the Zealots every time when you just have to fill in for not having enough gas.
Picking all kinds of maps today.
I am.
It would have actually been better if you picked the same map, because you would get used to building placement for the Forge Fast expand for that particular map. Actually, each of them has a slightly different position where I place the pylon.
And that's something you just learn with experience?
Yeah, or basically if you play a few times on each map and you get 6 pulled, you would actually learn why you have to place the pylon in a strategic way every time.
Yeah.
And then you just have to imagine, if a 6 pull would hit me right now, would my wall survive the attack, basically? And you have to look at the length of your ramp, at the elevation of the ramp, and then you have to imagine when you have your gateway and your forge where your cannon would be and how would your base look like. Basically, if you have your pylon exposed when a 6 pull happens, that pylon is gonna go down before your cannon is actually up, so that's just game over. The only way you can survive that is to bring some probes to defend your pylon, for example, but then you use a lot of mining time, and then even if the enemy doesn't kill you with his 6 pull, it's still on even footing because you lost the mining time.
Oh, he wants that hatchery. Are we blocking? Oh no!
Oh, sorry. I was macroing.
That's okay. We prefer that.
Yeah, it's better to macro anyway.
So because I saw an early pool, I went ahead and threw the cannon down first instead of the Nexus.
Yeah, but if you notice, you place the cannon slightly to the right, but your ramp is on the left, so that actually helps the links.
So this is the same thing as you did last time, where that radius is not protecting your ramp nearly as much as it could.
Okay.
So you probably actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, want to put the forge on the left as well, and build your wall out from the ramp instead of from the outside.
Yeah, I actually start exactly on the edge of the ramp with the forge, and the pylon I would have placed it again slightly to the left and a bit up.
Yeah.
So the hole that would remain at the end for the Zealot would actually be on the far end to the right.
Yeah. Sounds good. Learn all kinds of things. But you know, that's what happens when you don't do the build often. You know, it's the small things you can learn from a more experienced player that's played this build 100, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I played it maybe more than 1,000 times.
Well, we're glad you're here. One probe on gas right now. What's the story there?
So earlier he said that I shouldn't put too many probes into gas because I need the minerals. So that's
Okay.
That was my reasoning.
Yeah, no, because right now you could take both gases and you
Okay.
would catch up basically. But start building probes from both your natural and your main, and you didn't drop your.
Oh, that Zergling.
That's a bit weird.
He's able to attack because the cannon.
Drop another cannon there since your original cannon doesn't protect that. And now the cybernetics core. And build a Zealot.
So is there a reason you're walling to your Nexus there?
With the cybercore?
Yeah. I feel like that makes it really hard for you to move back and forth in front of your Nexus, as opposed to really restricting his movement much.
And another thing is that if you put a lot of buildings in your wall, you actually...
Oh, he saves it! 8 hit points!
You should saturate your gases.
Okay.
And
Sick!
build more pylons because you're about to get supply blocked.
Just meters that Zealot look really sad back there. Is he stuck?
Yeah, he's stuck.
Yeah, he's super sad.
A link came in your base. So
Yeah, I would just leave him. Kill him later with a stalker or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he also needs to watch out now because that link can potentially attack probes, or he will also gain scout information. So right now, because I know that there's a link in my base, I would actually put the Stargate at my natural somewhere.
Okay.
Like at the right of your cybernetics core is probably the safest location. And you can drop a second one because you can already afford it.
Kill that Lang. Nice.
That poor zealot.
Yeah.
Put a second Stargate because you have already enough gas to sustain it.
Look at that overload right there. It's totally
that's a good
seeing my
spot.
Stargate.
Oh, the Overlord?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Overlord can see the Stargate. So maybe we drop one more pylon at the natural at some point.
Yeah,
Instead
that's a
of-
bit of an Artosis pylon.
Yeah.
But it's actually snugly protected by buildings, so...
Alright, so you got a
It's sort
Scout
of
Overlord
lucky
in your
right
main
now.
base.
But
And your wall is actually open, so you should move your Stalker and put it on hold position to make sure that there's no run-bys.
Good call.
more gates, or just constantly build up.
More gates, but you have already a Stargate and you're not building stuff from it.
Alright, always Stargates.
Yeah, so now you have your 2 Stargates, chrono boost them as much as possible.
I noticed no army is on a hotkey yet.
I gotta have 2, man.
Such a terrible crutch.
So keep chrono boosting the Stargates. You don't have to chrono boost probes that much anymore, but you can continue building probes to at least get saturation on the 2 bases you have.
Okay.
And I would probably add one more
Stargate!
cannon.
Stargate!
No.
It's Chrono
Okay.
not doing anything. I'm just gonna
One.
yell at you whenever those are not producing. That's my job
Add
now.
one more cannon and 3 gateways. And
Okay.
you should start attacking with the 4 phoenixes you have right now. You should be able to pick off a few queens, and after that, once the Zerg realizes you're going for phoenixes, he's gonna...
Which is right now. Whoops. I shouldn't kill off overlords.
No, you should kill this one off, but
That's
it's
fine.
better if you
Go, go.
surprise the enemy.
Go.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
attack a base, because your goal right now is to kill some drones and potentially queens. Whenever you're killing overlords, you're actually helping the Zerg, because he's probably on 3 bases by now,
Yeah.
and overlords don't mean anything to him.
Okay.
Basically because he can build a ton of them, and if his injects aren't destroyed in any way, that means you're not killing queens, you're not killing probes, drones.
What's funny is that no queens had injected in the last 10 seconds on bear hatcheries, and he's been supply locked the entire time. But welcome to Plat. Oh, careful with the hydras.
Using some hydras.
Yeah,
So
again, overlords are not priority targets.
So now you know that the Zerg is going for hydras. You want to get your fleet beacon.
Fleet bacon. Stargates aren't making anything. You're so supply locked.
That's not my fault. I had a student that wrote a research paper about bacon, and he actually meant beacons.
Okay, so you're making it really hard for yourself to build cannons, given the way that you have like gateways taking up that area to the right of your main, and pylons taking up the area to the right of your natural.
So, you have your Stalker in
Just
your
throwing that out
control
there.
group with your Phoenixes. That really has to be in your wall off, so you don't have any possible run-bys.
Okay.
No more F2, Phillip.
Alright.
And add like 5 more cannons to your natural. Because if Phoenixes would hit right now, you might not be able to handle it with Phoenixes alone. So you're trying to buy yourself time to get some critical mass of carriers, which is right now is when you should start building them.
Okay.
And you should add those cannons at the front of your ramp, not in the back where you just put them.
Yeah, so he's saying if you got hit with a frontal attack right now, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah. And basically, you don't have to put any cannons actually in the back.
No!
Or you can put 1 or 2 cannons in the back. But if you
Is he
commit
even
to
on the
more
call
cannons-
right now?
Yeah, he's probably even dropping the Skype call.
I can hear y'all.
Oh,
still.
okay.
So basically, the cannons you put in the back of your minerals don't make that much sense anymore because you know you have air superiority.
Okay.
So it would actually be a silly move from the Zerg to attack you with Mutalisks because you would just crush him instantly. So those cannons you place behind are not that useful in this scenario. You can still have 2 or 3 cannons there in case there's some sort of surprise attack and you have your units off position.
Yeah.
But you actually want most of your cannons to defend against a frontal attack.
So the goal here is now that I have air superiority, carriers will be pretty good transition. Is that the thinking?
Actually, carriers beat Hydras, but you have to be careful in all your engagements, basically. And
Oh, hey.
and the Zerg will eventually realize that he needs to go for Corruptors, and that's the time when you want to
Third
switch.
ever?
Also,
Third,
okay.
after you have an engagement when you won.
Should I be pushing out or just staying here?
You should constantly try to pick off units all around the map.
Yeah, Phoenixes need to be active.
So not necessarily push out, but you have to check out what's going on at least. And try to find some units somewhere on the map or look for an expand that's not protected enough.
Yeah,
You should
Phoenixes
also
are so
get
fast, they're really nice for scouting.
You should also get the Phoenix range since you have so many Phoenixes right now.
He's getting Graviton Catapult at the moment, but
Yeah, I know.
before or
I heard
after?
It would have been better before, but
Scouting
after
info! So you just
be
saw a bunch
careful
of swarm
You have
hosts.
your carriers rally to your Phoenixes, and you don't want that. You want to have your carriers back in your base.
Oh no, they're running away. They're
Carriers
running away.
back.
Carriers! No! Carriers, no! Run home!
And
Both
you
of
have
them.
Another carrier.
Oh god. Get those interceptors on auto build, by the way.
And now some Zealots are off position. And your mothership core pull it back.
Ugh.
You should bring back all your Phoenixes because he doesn't have that many Hydras and you can actually
You can just
pick
kill
up
them.
all of them and kill them. But you don't have any detect, so you want to cancel one of your carriers and build an Oracle.
Nice.
And Chrono Boost the Oracle you're building. Oh, you're not building it.
Building it now.
Okay.
Oh, he's running away. He's running away.
Yeah.
Get
Try
him.
to find the Swarm Host with your Phoenixes. You can pick off a few of
Keep
them.
going. Keep going. Don't give up.
You can engage those Hydras because there are not that many. Okay, now back. Basically, the Hydras line up, so you can basically catch the first 2 or 3 without taking that much damage, and then engage them again.
And again, be careful with that Stargate rally that's stuck on your Phoenixes, because if carriers come out, they will again run out and die.
Yeah.
How many cannons should he be building with 4,000 minerals? All of the cannons?
No, about 2,000.
Oh god. Oh god.
But with that A move, it's basically over right now.
Yeah.
That's the risky part, basically. With Phoenixes and Stargate units, you always have to be careful to have the correct positioning and the best engagement you can get yourself into.
Mm-hmm. So you want to hold position over those cannons to make sure that nothing gets drawn out into that
with the
death field.
Carriers should have been on hold position over the cannons.
Sure.
The mothership core should have actually been somewhere over the Nexus to be able to use the photon overcharge in case of some surprise attack.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a couple small things to fix here. And then again with you hung with him for a while and you had like 4,000 money left over. So
yeah,
it's let's try for some consistency here. We'll do one more. Pick a map that we've already done so you can keep practicing the exact same thing, and we'll pick one of the builds to do again because it's kind of changing each time. So let's try for that.
Yeah.
Focus on getting the build nice and smooth. Not so much on like, is my Phoenix Micro exactly what it should be? So maybe we should do the Blink Stalker one again. Is that a legit build, or is that just something that we wanted to try?
So basically, it's an MC build with which MC actually wins most of his games.
Right.
So he gets some fast +2 Blink Stalkers, and his micro is just so good that he can beat almost everyone.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
And whenever I attempt it and end up doing that versus a Grandmaster or something, he just says, "Hey, you're not MC. You shouldn't be doing this." So unless your APM is really great, Blink Stalkers are also risky, basically.
Okay.
But if you're trying to defend yourself versus Stalkers, against mutas, you either have the option of getting Phoenixes, or if you're already committed to going around, you have to get the Stalkers until you at least have enough to defend yourself.
Yeah.
And after that, you can switch to Robo Tech.
So it seems like the interesting thing we're getting here is that some of these builds that Cardz hasn't done before or is more unfamiliar with kind of keep the Zerg from even getting to Muta with all of the Phoenix harass and everything. They'll try other avenues. They go get Hydras, they get Swarm Hosts, things like that, where it's not even as much of a problem to defend against Mutas because Mutas don't happen.
Yeah. That's basically something I also noticed in my games, but it's what I want. Because Mutas are actually a huge pain, even if you're going Blink Stalkers and you have perfect micro and perfect map awareness, for example. The mutas can just fly around you and pick off a few probes every time they fly in. So if you lose 2 or 3 probes every 1 minute without killing any mutas, you're way behind in the game. So you might be under the impression that you have a good defense, but we're actually falling back on harvesters every time.
And let's remember where to put our forge this time. Go on the near side of the ramp in front of that pylon, and then cannon next to it so it covers as much area as possible and as much of the ramp as possible.
Alright.
Right now I would actually put the cannon maybe somewhere near the pylon, below it probably, because otherwise he might reach in the same situation he was last time, where a single Zergling could kill a pylon or a building that was hanging off on the side of the ramp.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Like just below it, adjacent. Yeah, that's what I would do too.
But keep building probes in your main and chrono boost them.
Get those probes, Macro.
Right, because I haven't seen a spawning pool when he's sending 2 drones. Can I just build the Nexus instead of the cannon, or?
Yeah, but go back in to check if there's nothing funny happening.
Yeah.
So you just notice his spawning pool time is actually kinda late, so you can drop a Nexus right now. What you need to be aware of in this situation is that since that Overlord actually saw you, that build the Nexus first, there is a high probability that he could attack with 6 speedlings in the near future. Like slowly.
Because when you go Nexus before cannon, you're just a little bit risky. If the Zerg went pool first, which he did. The timing usually works out just fine, but...
Yeah.
It is a little bit risky.
And now put the gateway down.
Nice.
Alright, where should the next pylon go?
If you want to do Stargate, you should get one in the main, right?
Yeah, usually I get them below the extractor to the right in my main.
Nice.
So somewhere there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Then the overlords have to travel a decent distance across your vision in order to actually see anything.
Yeah, so there's a huge risk for them to actually be picked off by some stalker or something like that.
Right.
So some people actually don't even want to sacrifice the overlord.
Oh,
But-
and he loses a lane.
But that doesn't mean that someone can just deduce that you're going for Stargate.
Right.
Based on your how many stalkers you have, how many gateways they see, and the timing
So
of
your
type.
cyber core doesn't need to wall this off, right? It can go back behind.
Yeah, but he can also wall it off if he's planning to go for a hard Stargate build.
Uh-huh. And that will give it away immediately to the overlord.
Yes, it does give it out.
Okay.
Okay, and gases now?
Yeah. And you should transfer 6 probes from your main to your natural.
And keep building probes.
Transferring is actually even more important if your base ever gets mined out,
Mm-hmm.
because you would prefer to have both your bases mining out at about the same time instead of running out and having like 50 probes on a single natural.
Yeah. That's not efficient.
And you should start mining from those gases
Alright.
and build some at your
Probes!
natural as well.
Probes! Chrono! Pylon!
Macroing's hard.
Yep. That's why we're here. That's what the show's called.
Literally. Alright. So what should I be doing with my next 100 gas?
So, do you want
Sentry?
to go for air or ground?
Probes on assimilators.
Let's go for air again.
Okay, so drop a Stargate
Yeah.
and keep chronoing probes.
Does he want to chrono the warp gate research at all? Is that important?
No.
Here
I
comes
would
the
actually-
overlord.
As long as he's on only one gateway, he could have even skipped the research at all completely and just go for a second faster Stargate,
Gotcha.
What should I be doing
Okay.
with all my minerals?
which you should just add right now, by the way. And you should
Thanks.
put about 2 more cannons at your natural because you haven't scouted in a while, so you don't know what can happen. So right now
Very
you're
true.
completely in the dark, so if roaches would attack, you need those 2 extra cannons.
Hmm.
Okay, and did you add a second Stargate yet? No, you should then.
Alright, more gates or just hard
Nope.
air?
Just Stargates.
Just
Alright.
Stargates, yeah.
Yeah, get him going. Add the other one to the hotkey.
And actually, build a Void Ray instead of a Phoenix as your next unit.
So cancel this one or?
No,
That's
let
fine.
it build. Phoenix is built super fast.
Go,
so
go, 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 go. Good job on the
Keep
probes.
those 2 Phoenixes active, so try to find some other overlords.
Yep, and pylons. Get your pylon.
And you have your second Stargate built, so
Yeah.
make a Void Ray out of that one as well. Okay.
You need a rally point on your Stargates.
Okay.
And as soon as those Void Rays are out, you want to actually put pressure on the enemy bases again.
Probes, probes, probes. Probes, probes, probes.
More just keep thinking void rays, I guess.
Yeah, and get the mothership core.
Okay.
And get those Stargate units active, right?
Yeah.
Probes.
When the next Void Ray is out, you have to deal damage, otherwise you're gonna fall behind again.
Okay, should I go for the third?
Yeah. And since you can afford it, put the fleet beacon down and start air upgrades as well.
And then small note, you're oversaturated on the main, little undersaturated on the natural, which means you're just a slight bit off with the probes, but you have a void ray at the natural as well, chilling over your cannon, so you might want to grab him.
Alright.
Careful, your phoenixes are gonna attack first because they're way faster, so you actually want to synchronize them with your void rays. Now you basically gave off your attack, so the Zerg had time to prepare with twins and bring units. Move out because
Void ray! Void ray's about to die! Run! Run, void ray!
Hey, just completely retreat because he had time to react. And try to go for another base. So you notice that he didn't have a third here. Maybe he took the other possible third.
Yeah, you should send at least one Phoenix over there. Check it out.
But if you want a full attack, do not send the Phoenix first, because then he would have time again to react.
Right.
Add a few more cannons.
Now where? As defense in the back or the front?
In the front.
Okay.
Because again, you have well, you just lost the Phoenixes. Well, you still have one of them. So you would actually want to get carriers out now.
Okay.
And cancel actually both void rays because they just started, yeah. And try to morph the mothership core. This is actually super risky though. To morph it into a mothership. The risky part is that you basically don't have photon overcharge for the next 100 seconds.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't kill your wall off, because right now you could have had like a stream of Zerlings come in.
So you told him to build a base though a little while ago. He needs to build a base.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I also said build cannons at your natural, and you didn't do that though.
Okay.
It was in that order.
Yeah.
First secure your base so you know you're not gonna die when you engage the enemy.
Agreed.
Now you need those try not to engage any Hydras with the void rays before you actually have your carriers as well though. But you can pick off roaches and use the alignment.
Pull back, pull back, pull back! Too many Hydras. There we go. Get those carriers on auto build if they're not already. So the void rays are going to auto target Hydras. Get the mothership core out there, get the mothership out there. Make them invisible.
Yeah. Move your mothership more over the nexus in your main, because then you'll make all the buildings invisible. And use your air units to kill the roaches. And this is the part where if you had a better wall, basically you wouldn't have taken this much damage. Like if you had 4 or 5 more.
They're not attacking. They're not attacking. FYI. Nothing is attacking the roaches. There we go.
And you have 2 Hydras that are trying to pick off your cybernetic core. That would be very bad.
Oh no. Oh no. Build a new one.
I don't have a gateway.
Bad news bears.
Okay, now you have 5,000 minerals and you still have your natural. You should defend
And
it from
the
that
third.
one Zergling. And build like 10 cannons at your natural and 10 cannons at your third.
He doesn't have a forge.
As soon as possible. Well, and build a forge.
Yeah, gotta build that forge.
And a gateway.
Well, this is a problem because of how much tech was lost, basically.
Yeah.
You should attack now. Because you can recall with your mothership. So you should just go
You're also invisible, so.
somewhere across the map and deal damage.
Should I engage the army?
There's no overseer.
You can engage the army, but then you have to be careful to not have any of your carriers within the range of Hydras. And 2 of your carriers don't have full interceptors.
Yeah, a couple of them are not on auto build. Keep chrono boosting your stargates.
and your supply blocked, and you have your fort, so you can build up your defenses again.
Yeah. Build them cannons.
Alright.
So you should build like 10 cannons maybe at your...
Bring your
max.
army back, though. It's in a bad spot. Did you have 2 cards? I feel like you don't have these on the hotkey.
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe? Okay.
You just built 1 cannon, you should build...
Yeah, I was waiting.
move your mothership.
Bay, you're such a troll.
Down.
That's so many.
He's not gonna get fooled this time.
But you should be able to take out that army actually.
Charge. Oh no, the Void Rays again.
There's so many.
You should put the interceptors on auto build again.
Build a forge in your main. You killed all the Hydras. It's a pretty nice Overseer wall, or Changeling wall right there.
Yeah.
For no reason. This one carrier has 24 kills.
An interesting thing is basically that you manage to retain your army. So most of your very expensive units are kind of still alive. So you have 4 carriers. If you had those 10 or 15 cannons, you would have completely decimated this army without losing any of your gas-heavy units.
Yeah.
So you could have been able to push out with your mothership then, and it would have probably at least taken 1 or 2 bases out from your Zerg.
Yeah, so this was all pretty, like, a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
Very
Apart
close.
from those cannons that were on top, you were basically pretty much on track for the whole game.
Yeah, I've never done a pure Stargate build, so that was interesting to see how this works.
Do you have probes?
Not really.
Alright. Well, we're gonna have to call it a night because we are over our hour now. So, what have we learned today, Cardz?
We learned cannons.
Cannons. Cannons are good.
Because
agree.
when you go Stargate, you have too many minerals.
Yes. It's very true. You get quite a lot of minerals. And I think those could probably be in another base and some more pylons and everything as we smooth that out. But overall, good job. Thanks for being on the show, guys. Cardz, good luck this week playing against Zerg. And if you get a replay of you vastly improving, bring it back and we'll show the better game.
Sweet.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks wraithlol for coaching. Thanks to Bay for helping us out with the practice partner position there. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you.
See ya.